Hey everyone, it's Generation Gamers. Welcome to our podcast. I am your co-host, Mike Mullis, aka Stinger NLG, and I'm here with two best co-hosts in the world.
Yeah.
Mason, aka Sinar212, along with my boy.
Dan, aka Loyal Valor. Here we go.
What's up, guys? How's your weeks?
Pretty good, pretty
Uh,
good. I'm actually pretty excited about today. It's our second podcast, so it's going pretty well. I know we got a couple views on our first one, so that's pretty good. You start off small and go off big. How about you, Stan?
my week was pretty good, just the same. I have not been playing any games. I'm working on getting a new system, so
Yeah, get on there.
yeah, I'm trying to get on that beta, but we'll talk about that later. So,
I was gonna say, man, this is gonna be quite the quick podcast because not a damn thing is going on in the world of video games, is it?
No, other than that one big thing that we're
That's a
going to be
lie.
talking about.
Oh man! All right, so let's jump right into it. What's that game?
What's that?
It's got
It's like the biggest thing ever. I mean,
yeah. I
what's
mean,
the
it's on
title
the
of
tip
it?
of my tongue. It's got guys running around shooting. It's Call of Duty with mechs.
Oh
Is what I
yeah,
heard it was.
you're right. It's just like Call of Duty with
Alright.
mechs. Oh yeah, now I remember.
I was
Titanfall.
confused.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Titanfall.
seemed confused. Exactly.
Oh, all right. So the beta is out, and now for those who don't know, might not have picked it up on the news or on Twitter or anything, the beta is now open. So if you are an Xbox One owner, and I'm pretty sure they're still working on the PC version as we speak, it may actually be ready by Monday.
Yep. I read that.
You'll be able to go ahead and download it and get into the beta. So, Sinar, you and I have been in this beta already.
Yep.
And
Lucky.
I got to tell you, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking early game of the year front runner.
Oh yeah.
do you think?
Right off the bat. I mean, for one, along with all of Xbox One's exclusives that are coming out in the first 12 months, Titanfall, man, it's hard to it's hard to explain. Like, you guys literally have to play it. I mean, I was lucky enough to get in the alpha, and then thank God after fighting tooth and nail, including with Stinger and some other, including Siren and GT Marauder and Beating the Langer, we all got in the beta. And now they had a little bit of those issues with the beta keys, but there's so much demand for it that they literally opened it up. I remember, I think it was Vincent Paula, he tweeted it. He said, "You know what? Screw it. Let's just open it up." I forgot that one guy's name, Josh something. He might be the engineer of it or something. He's the one
Oh,
that
John, John Shirley.
he was the
I
one
think
that
his name
gave
is.
he was the one that gave the okay to say, "You know what? Open it up. Let's stress it to the max." And
Well, and they had to because, and this is something that, I'm not gonna lie, it's bugged me this week that the reason that they opened this beta up, the closed beta process really didn't go the way they wanted to.
no, it didn't.
And I'm wondering how much of that became EA's doing because they were the ones sending out the emails. And what Vince finally said was, we know a lot of people who had signed up for the beta. They were sending out codes, but people weren't getting them. So they were trying to figure out a way to get these people in, and I was one of them. You signed me up because I was
Same.
in the car.
Yeah, well, because they had opened up the website. I remember they were supposed to. They said the website was going to open up 6 Pacific time, and 6:00 p.m. Pacific time, and so that was 9:00 our time since we're on East. Me along with Loyal and GT and Heather, and all of a sudden we're on our Twitter and we were waiting. Next, come around 8:00, the website opened up an hour before we're supposed to, and we were like, "I'll sign up." So I signed up my Siren 717, me, GT, and then I called you, and we were trying to figure out what the password was, and we found out you could just sign up right then and there, and that was literally an hour before the actual site everybody knew was supposed to open. So we were expecting to get in like that lickety split, and what a cluster. And I know it's a good thing they opened it up because I had tweeted Vince, and mostly just kind of out of frustration, and I had said, "Listen, you guys, I know this is probably something different for you guys. You guys are not, not a big team." That's what I was thinking. And they're not. I think they're like honestly a team of 100 or 110.
Or 70, 75, I think. Is what they
Yeah,
are.
not very big because they just started. And I said, this is just a beta key. You guys are having problems with just beta keys. and I said, you guys, hopefully come March 11th, you guys are ready, because a lot of pissed off people are going to be upset when the game is not really working well. And I said, don't pull another Battlefield. And luckily, honestly, and you were in the, you know, me playing the beta, you playing the beta, we have not noticed any lag. I think when it first started, though, there was some server issues, but that was on Microsoft's side, and Microsoft acknowledged it, and they got it fixed within an hour, hour and a half. Which
That's
is
the whole point of the beta.
Yeah, to fix it. And now that it's up, and since it's opening, last night, we were, 12 o'clock, and it was like an hour after they opened it up, and we had no lag at all through all the matches.
Yeah. And look, my only issue with the way that they handled the process wasn't necessarily that we were having trouble. You know, you got your code, a couple of my friends from work got their codes, I didn't, and what bothered me was then to see on Twitter Vince and Respawn's official account and Major Nelson and other guys from the Microsoft team just giving out codes on Twitter, which ended up getting taken by the bots that get, you know, so nobody got those codes. And I didn't feel like they were taking care of the people who had actually signed up on the list before they were giving out codes.
Yep.
So the fact that they opened it up to everybody, I thought that was the right move. I thought that, you know, it was good that they learned, that they figured out that they had really botched it. And again, how much of that turns to EA itself, I don't know. But opening it up was good. So, you know, now that we're past that, you started to talk about it. That beta has got me, who is not a competitive FPS player anymore, and haven't been for a long time, completely stoked to get this game. It's fast-paced, it is frenetic, and to be quite honest,
yeah, it is pretty good. I know real quick, I know Stanley, he doesn't have an Xbox One yet, and I did say the good thing about that is he'll be able to get the PC, because I think they're, like you said, they're opening it up on Monday. I wanted to hit on that real quick. So Stan, you can go ahead and play on the PC and get a taste of it. You can download it on your computer.
Yeah, like as you guys are speaking, I'm over here on a website. I'm like looking up on how to try to.
I think
get the game over here.
Like Mike said, I think Monday is when they're opening up for PC, and it's a free beta to download.
Okay.
And all the footage that you guys that are listening to our podcast are seeing was taken during the beta. That's our footage, Generation Gamers footage, and so you get a good sense of what's going on in that game. Just the speed and how frenetic it is to play, and I mean, I haven't really played a competitive first-person shooter since probably Modern Warfare 2. And the last real first-person shooter I played all the way through was Black Ops. I just got, I get tired of being shot one hit, killed to the head, and I don't feel like I feel like I suck at them. And I do. I mean, it's not a feeling, it's I do.
The good thing is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. With Titanfall, when we were playing last night, I felt competitive. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I could be part of the team.
Be a contender.
And be a contender. And when I jumped into a Titan, everything that first-person shooters have to be in order for you to be good at go right out the window.
Yep. And that's where the good thing with Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, half the team that made that is at Respawn now. And that's the one thing I've always praised about Call of Duty is the easiness of it to pick it up and go play. And that's where it is with this one, with Titanfall, where you said it's very frantic. I tell you what, if you're a camper, all those campers listening right now, you might as well stick to Call of Duty or Battlefield, because you will not be able to camp in this game. And this is what I was telling Stan about this earlier. There's so much going on. It's crazy how much stuff is going on. The audio, the explosions, the AI, but at the same time, there's organization, there's teamwork. It's not like where if you have Battlefield, you got 32 on 32. It's kind of like, Mike, what we were talking earlier today. It's like it's all over. It's every man for themselves. There's no
organization. Bots work well together.
Exactly, and that's another thing. It's like, okay, there's 6 on 6, So you can I think those are called pilots. Those are the human players. It'd be me, GT Siren. So 6-on-6. But I do not. I think it's an unlimited amount of AI, because when we were playing, it was just like there's AI all over. If you really want to count how many things are on the scene, there could be well over 50 things. Because I was seeing ships drop down with 8 or 9 AI players on there, and they were running towards the battlefield. It was just I want to say chaotic, but chaotic might be the wrong word. But
It's frantic and immersive.
it's frantic, immersive, exactly. But there's organization in it. So anybody who's worried there's going to be too much going on, and for one, people, all those naysayers on the internet, those internet warriors on internet forums saying 6-on-6. Trust me, they have no idea what they're talking about, and they're definitely got a weight coming when they see how awesome this game is when it actually comes out.
Well, and the Titans are what changes this game. I mean, well, there's two pieces that actually change it. The Titans are a big one, and I think once we started to get into these Titan battles where there's 4 of them on the, it's like 3-on-1 Titans, and you're trying to do, you're trying to jump on the back of one guy's Titan to grab him to steal his, and then you got 2 other Titans coming up to kill you, and then out of nowhere, one of your teammates, his Titan comes along, and then you got this big giant battle.
Yep.
Nothing in Call of Duty is like that. Nothing in Battlefield is really like that, except for some of the vehicle stuff. And then add on top of that the fact that you have a jump pack that can allow you to really play the upper side, the upper levels of buildings,
It really
running
gets
along
vertical.
walls. Exactly. There's this whole vertical game now that you've got to account for. And it's not just, running along the walls. You can actually stop and grab onto a wall and turn around and shoot.
Yep.
And there's just a lot of new gameplay in here that I'm surprised has never come to light in previous Call of Duty or Battlefield games. Man, Respawn has really hit a home run with
Well, the thing
this.
with it's like, them trying something new, and that's a good thing to try something new, and it's working. And to the listeners, we may be talking about all this crazy stuff that's going on in the game or all the things you can do, but the game is so well balanced, it's not even funny. We're talking about like the Titans. Some people might think, oh, having all those Titans would be one-sided. No. Trust me,
They
enough.
have their weaknesses. right?
Exactly. Enough pilots can take down 1 Titan or even 2 Titans. Even when I get in the Titan, trust me, there's been numerous times where 1 or 2 guys have killed me, 2 pilots, and it's, man, like you said, Respawn, man, they really got it down, and it's crazy how, like you said, to make these ideas come to light, and it goes to show you, maybe to be a topic on our next podcast, what these publishers are willing to change. Are they if they say, hey, this works, it sells, why change it? But sometimes in the game industry, you do need to change that. And Respawn finally put an idea out there that's awesome and it's working.
Yep.
It lives to the hype. This game has been hyped coming out of E3. All the awards that it's won, all the press that have said that this is a game changer, all the people that have been out to various events that have played Titanfall, the alpha players, and now this. This is a game that is going to live up to the amount of hype that it's been put under. I mean, sometimes, you see this with movies and you can see this with video games. A game or a movie will get hyped to no end, will come out flat, and will just bomb.
Yeah.
I just don't see this game bombing. I see this as
It will
the start
bomb
of
in the
something.
best way.
Yeah, bombing.
There you go.
Exactly.
But I see this being this is easily going to break 1 million units.
Oh yeah, right off the bat.
If not worldwide, at least at the very least here. And I just see this being something that is going to go into the end of the year as a game of the year candidate.
Yeah, I agree. And Stan, like I said, if you do get that PC beta when they open it up, download it. And I know you'll be wanting to play an Xbox One. Give it a shot, and you'll know. I mean, you have that nice laptop there. You can give it a shot. And I don't even think the specs for the game are even that high either.
Yeah, I could definitely push the game on my laptop.
And the cool thing is when the game starts, they throw a tutorial at you, and that goes pretty quick. I'm telling you, Sam. Once you get the game, it'll click so fast. you'll be like, oh man, like it's crazy how a game so simple can be so crazy and so balanced at once. That's just where I'm getting at. And it's like it totally blows my mind. And to have a next gen console, Xbox One right now with Titanfall is the next generation experience in my opinion. To have that console and that type of game, no contest.
Like you said, it's a console seller, right? It's
Oh
like,
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, if it's gonna be like the old Halo 2 days, or I remember working at GameStop when Halo 2 came out. People were coming in buying just regular Xboxes for Halo 2, and I think this will be the time when people see. And trust me, when that game gets closer, Microsoft will promote that game. They've always done pretty good at promotions with their first parties, but I got a really good feeling they're gonna promote it pretty well. And people, I can just see
I
a lot
wouldn't
of.
be surprised if they came out, like with a promotion, like, get an Xbox and you get a code for this game, or something like that
Oh yeah, so yeah, exactly.
later on.
Yep, yep. And people are going to go to Best Buy and be like, "Hey, I want Titanfall for the PS4 or for the Wii U." Some people literally might actually ask that question. And hey,
For the Wii U.
like, can we get? And he's like, "Unfortunately, it's only on 360, Xbox One, and PC." Now, for the 360, I don't know how that one's going to fare. We haven't seen any screenshots. We haven't seen any video of it. And I'm pretty sure for PC it'll be awesome, but just I guess it is.
The PC version, I've been told, looks pretty much exactly like the Xbox One version, texture quality and all.
Oh, okay.
So they really built this game around the Xbox One. I mean, they really did.
It had a smart glass too, won't it? Yeah, they announced it. It will have that smart glass support. I haven't really. I think the only game I know that really. No, Dead Rising 3 did have smart glass, and so did Rise. And I know they didn't really go into too much detail. I just know they did say that Titanfall will have Xbox One smart glass support. Whatever it may attain, who knows?
Will not have Kinect support, which is, at first you think, why, well, gee, they're just abandoning the Kinect, but I can't see how you would do Kinect
the game's
support.
too quick. The game's too fast.
It's too fast.
Yeah, unless maybe, I don't know, kind of like they did with Ghost Recon and those. Not Ghost Recon, but maybe like, I don't know, maybe have like a, kind of like Forza did, have like a mech gallery where you could go into the gallery and just use the Kinect to walk around like Forza to look at the different joints and parts of the mech. That'd be kind of something cool. But, I mean, you're right. If gameplay-wise, there's no way, because you're right, the game is so fast. The Kinect would be, it's not there yet for that, for that fast.
You'd be
Well,
tired.
but even it's not a matter of it not being there for it yet. It's just there are it's not something that I can find a good use for. It's just there's just too fast.
Yeah.
So the question does, for Xbox 360 folks, that port's being done by Bluepoint,
Different
and
developer.
they've done a very, very good job with game ports. I'm wondering what's going to happen with the 360 version, which by the way has been delayed a week, so it's coming after the Xbox One and PC version.
I think March 25th or the 18th. I think it was the 18th. The 18th, I think.
Yeah, because March 11th is when the Xbox One and PC version drops, so it'd be a week after that.
Yep.
So, and Bluepoint, to give you an idea of what they've done, they ported the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, the God of War collection, and the Ico and Shadow of Colossus collections.
Wow.
So they've got some good talent to bring this game to the 360.
That's pretty good then. I know the Shadow Colossus was actually pretty nice. I got that for the PS3 because I never played it on the PS2 days, but it was definitely really awesome. So, but I'm pretty sure, Stan, did you ever play Shadow of the Colossus?
No, but I definitely I was over at my friend's house and he had the game on his PlayStation, and it is really beautiful. That game.
It is. Especially
just going around killing bosses,
ginormous bosses, like
right.
Oh shit, like Godzilla and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think there won't be much of an issue with that. And look, the 360's got a giant base of players. I am sure that there are going to be a lot of people playing Titanfall on it. I would be interested to see what the numbers are between the 360 and the One version when it's all said and done.
Now, quick question: is Titanfall on the 360 going to have dedicated servers like the Xbox One version?
I believe so. I believe it's all going to be on the Azure servers.
Okay, all right then. Like I said, I remember I didn't hear anything about it.
All right, so I want to switch gears
Yeah.
and get into a couple topics that might actually blend together a little bit. This is the time of month when the MPD puts out their sales numbers for the consoles,
NPD.
and
Actually, I got a dumb question. What does NPD stand for?
oh, I see. I thought you might ask, and I'm not prepared for that.
The North. I
Um,
always used to, I'm just thinking
Okay.
like I said, there's like North Production Disclosure, Northern. I don't know. North.
I, you know what? I will have an answer for you shortly. Uh, I just don't off the top of my head. We know it's consumer market research. I just don't know. It's a group. It's called the NPD group. I just don't know what exactly the NPD stands for. Um,
Just a
and
collection of
and
letters.
so right, it's probably
Doesn't
just
mean anything.
letters.
Doesn't mean
So
anything.
so let's get down to it. The PlayStation 4 was the winner for January's NPD numbers. It sold now. Okay, so here's where I want to start with this. If I said to you, PlayStation 4 nearly doubled the sales of the Xbox One in the month of January, how does that sound?
Well, off the bat, for me at least, I know that's expected because for one, PS4 is selling in 32 markets right now, and the
Well,
Xbox One is only.
this is just the North American
Oh,
market. The
just North
NPD numbers are
American.
just for North America. But
Wow.
Well,
what I'm getting at is, if I just said the PS4 nearly doubled Xbox One sales in the month of January, if that's all I said, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
the first thing,
BS.
the first thing that pops in my mind is, gee, I wonder what games they're playing. I'm serious. I mean, it doesn't have any recollection of me. I bought my console for one thing, which was the games and what it offers.
They're
Got the
watching
games.
movies.
Yeah, I got the games. I have the services. Honestly, that would be my thought. Like, man, that's a lot of PS4 sold. I mean, and saying I don't think it has any bearing on the console itself. It's selling more than the 360, so obviously they're still doing good. And my thought is like, man, what games are they playing?
Well, the reason I said it like that was because, the NPD numbers are great if you are invested in the console war. If you're one of these fanboys of one machine or another, and you are a console warrior, and your team has to win, like a game of attrition in Titanfall, um, then that on its face sounds immense. Like, oh my God, Microsoft's in deep trouble, and I've read this. Microsoft's in deep trouble. They need to price cut. They need to drop Connect. They need to, Microsoft am doomed. But then you look at the actual sales numbers and what the estimated numbers are, which are low for both. The PlayStation 4 sold about 200, I think, and 80,000 units, and the Xbox One sold 141,000 units.
Okay.
So together, in the month of January, they didn't even both break
Wow.
500,000
Yeah.
units.
That is kind of actually low for the market. Market in general, market wise, you're right. Yeah.
So it's like my saying, I've got $2, you've got $1, I got twice as much money as you. If I just said I got twice as much money as you, it sounds awesome until you realize it's a difference of a
It's
dollar.
still $2.
Yeah.
Right.
Difference of a dollar. Yeah.
So what does this mean, in the grand scheme of things? And I want to give you my thoughts on this, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because I have not been a console warrior since the Genesis days, since my Sega days.
Well,
I've owned all the consoles. I've been a game journalist, so I've had to cover all the consoles. I've come to this point where I don't understand why people have to take a side on a winner and a loser. I get it if you want to take a side on picking a console because it's the right console for you, because that's what you guys did, that's what I did. That's why I have an Xbox One. It has nothing to do with an anti-Sony or I hate PlayStation. It just happens to be what I want for my household.
Mhm.
But I don't care if the PlayStation 4 quote unquote wins the generation. Just like I didn't care that in the United States and well, let's call it the North American territories and in UK, the Xbox 360 shredded the PlayStation 3
Yeah.
by multi-millions of units. I don't care. And you know who else really didn't care? Sony, and I'll tell you why. The PlayStation 3, for as being as far back as it was in the two largest territories in the world, still got games. Developers didn't drop them, they didn't abandon them. They still got guys like Hideo Kojima to make Metal Gear Solid games for them,
Mhm.
and to praise them. They still got companies from Namco and Tecmo and
They didn't
EA
they
and
didn't
all the
lose their
big guys. They
support.
all made games for it,
Yeah.
even though
But
it lagged behind and
were
still
they
lags behind.
exclusives? You know,
Some.
like
Some were. I mean, they weren't
yeah,
losing.
but didn't they lose a lot of their exclusivity? Like
They did. Yes, they did. It was a lot of their exclusives they had in the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 days jumped over along with the Xbox
right, like they
360.
lost Final Fantasy, they lost
But
the
not
Metal Gear
really.
or whatever.
But not really, because some Final Fantasy games are still exclusive to the PlayStation 3. Everything past the one that there's only been one Xbox 360 Final
The
Fantasy
only
game
one I
this whole
remember that's
generation.
the only one I 13 came out, and then I just remember 14, the online one, is the only one on the PS3.
Yeah, because the one that's out for the Xbox 360
That's Final Fantasy
was Final
11.
Fantasy 11.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I mean, for
That's
I
really
think
it.
14 really never took off, the online thing. I remember when they announced that it was big, but then I haven't really heard much about it. I don't know anybody who plays it. And then, but
Grand Theft Auto.
the biggest thing I remember during that time with exclusives was when people said 13 will never ever come to Xbox, and then when they announced it, they did, and people were like, "Well, I don't really care about that one. It's all about versus." And then
Right.
after all the speculation, versus turned into 15, and guess what? 15 is multi-console, Xbox One and PS4, and that was a big blow. That literally everybody thought that game was. I mean, they showed it, and everyone's like, "Oh man, yeah, this is gonna put it back on the map, this and that." And it's like, "Hey, guess what? It's also coming out on PS4. Look at Metal Gear Solid. Well, I guess Phantom Pain isn't. I would consider that 6. Was that Metal Gear? I would consider it 6.
5. 5.
Okay, 5. You're right. I'm sorry. It was the first showing at E3 for Xbox One. That's coming on Xbox One. That's coming out on PS4. I mean, I know you get different exclusive DLCs. That's different, but I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
a lot of those games that carried that were on, the Xbox. I mean, the PlayStation One, PS2, like Ace Combat and Armored Core, Devil May Cry. I mean, I know they changed it now, but I remember Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy, and stuff like that. Those are where developers kind of, hey, let's go ahead and make them on this console. But I mean, that's getting off topic. But
Well, but it's not really, because my one of my points here is that Metal Gear Solid 4 never made it to the Xbox One.
no,
The next Ace Combat game is a PlayStation exclusive, and it's coming out soon for I think the PS3. It's exclusive. There are still exclusive games coming out for the console that, again, in the two largest territories, throw out worldwide for a minute, because last week we talked about this. Worldwide sales don't count as much as people think they do. It's great for numbers, but it never translated into sales, because for as many other countries that sold the PlayStation 3 that helped it catch up worldwide, the major games that came out for both systems always sold better on the 360. And in the terms of Call of Duty and Battlefield and those games, it was almost sometimes double.
yeah,
And so worldwide sales to me don't often count, and because of that. So in this next generation, it's a good bet that the PS4, at least in its current situation, with the Xbox One being $100 more, is probably going to have a lead in this generation, maybe for the entire generation, certainly worldwide because of the same situation as the PS3.
mm,
But does that matter? Because look at uh, when we talk about Titanfall is probably going to be the third million seller on the Xbox One platform, behind Forza, which has sold 1 million,
mm,
and Dead Rising 3, which has sold 1 million. So Titanfall is going to be next. Companies know that even if the Xbox One lags behind the PlayStation 4, their games are still going to sell. And their games are still going to make money for them. And so just as the PlayStation 3 had that problem last generation and still got games, the Xbox 360, unless it falls off a Wii U style cliff, I don't think that we're going to have this problem.
No, I agree. I mean, Stan, how do you feel about it?
I agree with Mike. I mean, I don't really care either way. Like it's just good for the consumer, me. Like this war that's going on. It only spells good for the consumer.
I mean, it's
So
definitely not going to make me sway my mind. I'm not going to be like in 3 months and be like, you know what, PS4 is selling more, so I'm going to start playing my PS4 more. No, that is not the case. The games are still coming. We all know. I mean, it is a little mind-boggling as a gamer. You still wonder, like, is it kind of like the old PS3, mind when they first launched a PS3 in '06, saying they could sell a four-wheeler to a paralyzed man because it's just the name Sony. Are people buying? No, I'm serious, man. They literally said that. I remember this interview and they said
that analogy
we could put
is
Sony on a four-wheeler and sell it to a man who cannot use his legs, you know, because it's just a name, it's a Sony brand. I mean, it kind of goes with the whole software sales and stuff like that. I mean, I guess as a gamer, I'm curious, like, what are you playing? I know you got Killzone and you got Knack. Is it an impulse buy, or is it just something that, I don't know, is it still, or Stinger, do you think people are still hating on the whole Microsoft bandwagon because of the whole E3 thing? I mean, trust me, I don't go into forums anymore. I see comments and people still bring up, I'll never go with Microsoft because they'll say because they tried to screw over the customer. I'm like, okay, like really, if that's your mindset, I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm not even going to excuse me, I'm not even going to acknowledge that comment. Like, come on, man. Like, really, you're not going to buy a system with an amazing experience because you think they tried to screw over the customer with the whole DRM thing. Maybe if they did more research on it, they'd understand.
well, I think
And
they
that's something
definitely
that
fixed it. Like
They
as
did.
long as they
That's the best
fix
thing.
the whole
The
thing.
gaming. I mean, not for I was me and Siren 717. We were all for that first process, the first vision they had. Yeah, the internet forums won or whatever, whoever won. Microsoft listened, and that made a lot of people happy. Me personally, I would have loved to have. I mean, me and Siren, we are all digital. We are buying all digital games. We would
as
have
am I.
loved, and same thing with Stinger. We were ready for that, and maybe, who knows if we ever get into a discussion about the whole DRM thing. Yeah, they changed it, but who knows? Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I was ready for it. I had it. I have in a world today. I have constant internet access I have constant access to an internet. So it really doesn't matter to me. And I don't. Luckily, my internet doesn't have data caps too. So
Right, like it doesn't hit close to home when you have everything necessary to run your console and get your games, but for people who don't, it really does. It really,
you're
it's
right.
really
It does.
crappy.
And I did look at it that way. I did look. I can understand some people, but when you throw in the question, what about the military man on the submarine? Like, come on, man.
They should be.
Like,
Well,
Are
look
they
at
really?
what
allowed to play games
happened.
from
Look
submarines?
at what happened with this. The other big contentious piece of the Xbox One is, why does it come with Kinect? And so what happened was, and here's another example of how the internet um, can be so hypocritical. At first, the Kinect had to be mandatorily plugged into the Xbox for the Xbox to
Yeah.
work, right? So that was a mandatory thing. Had legitimate, what I would consider legitimate concerns of, all right, that's fine. What happens if it breaks? What if my Kinect breaks? What if my cat chews through the wire? You know, what if I trip and it pulls out and it's broken and now my Xbox One is no good,
That
right?
was mine also. I was the same way. I was for having the Connect, but and it's funny, I said I'm an Xbox fanboy, but that I did not like. I did not like the fact they said you're going
Right.
to have it plugged in.
It's
I
like
was
a
like,
fatal, it's like the Achilles heel. It's like, wow, if my Connect, which is completely separate from my Xbox, does not work, then my Xbox won't work. That
exactly.
is
It
just
wasn't even going to
crazy.
turn on. I don't even think you'd been able to turn it on.
Yeah, I think it would. stick. So, okay, so that's a very legitimate concern. People brought it up. So Microsoft said, okay, then we will not make it mandatory for the Kinect to be plugged in order for the Xbox One to work. And what happened? Oh, well, you can't. It's not even mandatory. So why are they putting the thing in the box? And it was almost like they were baiting Microsoft so they could trash the Kinect. And I guess where this molds into what we wanted to talk about next was the with the MPD numbers and how all this comes about, and these people that continue to trash Microsoft because of what they think that they were going to do to the industry and so on and so forth. It's all this console warrior nonsense that I think is bad for gaming, and it's bad for the community. And look, fanboys have been around since the beginning of time. They've been around since the Atari and Intellivision days, when Mattel would hire an actor to come on to do in television commercials to
to
tell them how
sell the
much better
product.
it is than the Atari. Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and that whole thing. And so, these companies spawn their own fanboy base.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I think it's gotten so bad in these latest generations that it's actually having a detriment on gaming itself. And now that you have social media, Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, where you can make comments, and some of just the toxic things that you read, it just makes gaming, the industry itself, almost not that fun.
I mean, for me, I know, especially loyal. I mean, because me and him, being gaming since like the old original Xbox days. I think I'm a fanboy, but I think my way of being a fanboy is, I guess you could say, old school. And today, these hardcore
It's not the way
gamers.
like you bash the other team just because. It's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
you look
I'm
at the
not
positives of your console. You're not really bashing the other console for what they don't have or what
exactly.
they do.
I mean, I don't know, maybe because I guess sometimes it's like the way these forums are. It's like you have to. It's not you just you kind of, it's like something you're so sick and tired of it. You're like, all right, you know what? You want me to say this? How about them taking? All right, how about Sony taking away your what was the support on their OS? And that's
Well,
what
Linux.
when they took away Linux. And guess what happened? Anonymous attacked back because it took away Linux, and their whole PSN was shut down. How do you feel about that? But I mean, I don't. It's just this day and age, these gamers, these hardcore gamers, or whatever is defined now, they're a lot different than what it was when I was just in like 8th grade or 9th grade of high school. I mean, yeah, we would have debates, but we would always be using our facts to go back and forth. Even me, I sometimes rag on the Xbox One when there's mishaps or when there's problems with it. Is it Connect perfect? No, it's not. I mean, what do you call it? Does the 360 should the 360 had a proprietary hard drive? I think it should have. I mean, a lot of these fanboys now, they won't.
There's like you're stupid. That's stupid. It's like why? It's like you're
Because
stupid.
it sucks.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't. It's like
Well,
they don't give a legit reason why. It's like you want to
I
ask
mean,
like,
you should see the Twitter feeds of like Microsoft executives like Aaron Greenberg and Larry Herb, and I mean, just some of the toxic comments going on, even nowadays, going on Reddit, going on GAF, going on these places that you can't say anything about the Xbox One without this army of fanboys that just snarkily attack
Like
it.
they attack you personally. Like
oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, there's times
Yeah.
where if I see like, especially YouTube comments are the worst. I mean, there's times where like my really hardcore fanboy will come out. If I see somebody say something like, literally, like you can tell like they were. I mean, this is funny. But hey, we're gamers, so people might laugh at what we're going to say about this. But when people like someone personally attack the system because they hate it themselves or they want to see it fail, trust me, same way. I have a PS4. I don't want the PS4 to fail. I don't want the Wii U to fail. It's just when I, when there's what do you call it? Just when they personally come out and you see it in his comments, then I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna be just like you, and you know, hit you between the legs and say this and that.
Right.
It's like they keep on saying they connect this, connect that, or price this, price that, and then I'm like, okay, what are your games? And then like, yeah, well, shut up, or I come and rape your mom, and this and that. It's like, whoa, like really? Like, did you just take it that far?
Well, and how many, who who really who's a real gamer who loves the industry for what it is, who goes and makes those comments initially anyway? I read all kinds of internet forums, and I read Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, PC forums. I check all these places out. Not once have I ever had the urge to just go into a PlayStation 4 forum and go, haha, you guys have no games, haha.
Yep.
I mean, it just, there's
Exactly.
no reason for it.
I never did
It's
either.
just hateful. Is
It
all.
is. I mean, I remember before I used to go back to the Team Xbox. God, before Team Xbox lost its way also. That's where I met Stinger. I used to go to this place called PlayStation Universe. Now, yeah, we all know PlayStation Universe is going to be mainly PlayStation, but I would go in the 360 forum, that section, and stay in there. Because that was the only really good forums at the time that I could find that would, have a lot of active people talking.
And you can relate to.
Exactly. And they would always, the other Xbox, they would personally come in and just rag on the sections and the forums and stuff like that. And it was like, good lord, like why? Even with Team Xbox,
It's on the same site, isn't it?
What is?
Like didn't you say like you went into the
Well, yeah,
Xbox?
but I'm still I'm still into that, into that section. But that doesn't mean I'm going to go into the PS4 section and start ragging on them. It's
Right,
kind of
that's
like
what I'm saying for the other dudes who are doing it. It's like ridiculous. It's on the same site, and you want to go into a different section just because it's different. It's
Well, it's like
oh.
even with with Team Xbox. Like I said, they're not around no more. But that was literally it's Team Xbox. I mean, what is the majority you're gonna? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing with PSU. But Team Xbox, you would literally go into the forums. It was all about Team Xbox, and all of a sudden you'd find these people
That's what you expect.
these people would come in, Stinger, and they would just hoe on it for no reason.
But it goes beyond that. I mean, there was a time, when Toys R Us put out their hot products for 2013, and the Xbox One was on that list. They were a hot product, and they put out a video showing the Xbox One. The comments were so vile from the PlayStation fanboy base, were so vile and nasty that Toys R Us had to pull the video, the whole video.
Yeah. It was
that
bad.
is the and look, if you buy a PlayStation 4 because you love that console and you want those games and you've been a PlayStation gamer for X amount of time, or even if you were one of those, I had an Xbox 360, I don't like where Microsoft went, so I'm going with PlayStation this time. That's cool.
It's like
that's great.
Stick to
that's
what
choice.
you love, not not
That's
hating
beautiful.
on anybody else.
Don't then force that opinion of, well, Microsoft sucks, and it's just go invading anybody else who wants to enjoy the Microsoft product and just go rag on them or ruin a conversation that you might be having with other Xbox One gamers. That's what happened to Team Xbox in its late days. That's what happens at places like NeoGAF and the NG4 forums, and it's starting to happen on Reddit, not as much, but it's like you can't find a good place to have a good conversation anymore because it's just it's just fanboy drivel.
It is
And
bad.
Don't be
here's
a
where
hater is all,
go ahead.
It's
Yeah, and
just
here's
like
where
your
social
game.
media
It's almost
media
like,
has really screwed things.
It's almost like they're literally mad at you for making your decision on that. It's like
Because they want the other team to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you buy that console, you're helping them not fail. But here's where it gets dangerous. All right, so on Saturday, a big rumor went around the internet and actually got picked up by gaming sites that there's an insider, and I'm not even going to mention his name. I don't even want to give this guy any kind of recognition. I don't want anybody to go looking for him or looking up anything else he said because honestly,
It's not worth it.
he's
It's not
what
worth
we
it to you.
call one of these fake insiders. He floated this rumor that Amazon was going to buy the Xbox division from Microsoft. That Microsoft, because a couple of investors a year ago said that Microsoft should spin off the Xbox division. This has blossomed into this rumor that Microsoft wants to sell the Xbox division. The new CEO doesn't like Xbox, and now Amazon's going to buy the Xbox brand, the division from Microsoft. And it wasn't that just this guy tweeted it. It became a multi-page internet forum thread, and it got picked up by major sites, and Microsoft actually had to respond to this.
Oh.
And it just shows you how dangerous
And how easy
the social
it is
media
to create
aspect of fanboyism is.
Oh yeah.
Because you could ruin a company's reputation, their branding. You could do serious damage. And let me tell you, that has some serious repercussions if Microsoft wanted to go after this person for
Right.
this. Make no
That's like
mistake.
slander, right? It's like you're just making up stuff.
Yeah,
And
it is slander.
He could get sued, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is he has no sources. He has no credible information to go on, so he throws it out there, and the minute it's picked up, he goes, "Well, I didn't think that anybody would take me seriously."
He's like,
Are you
freedom of
kidding?
speech.
But it's already too
Yeah,
late.
he says it was just a big joke. But this is what's going on in social media is you have these
This
quote
ain't no
unquote
game.
insiders.
Yeah.
And these insiders they're floating this information that some of it's guesswork, some of it's picked up from other places that then they float as insider information, and then there's stuff that's just been wrong for the last few months, and it's starting to really affect, I think, the industry in a very negative way.
Well, like Major Nelson, what was that tweet Major Nelson had said when the first numbers came out? And Major Nelson even said, he had said, listen, the numbers, I think it was like the first MPD and PS4 was in the lead, and or it might have been even the second one when Xbox was in the lead for December, but Major Nelson had came out and said, listen, these numbers are good. That's good for the industry. All this online hate needs to stop. And he's right. I mean, like I said, from a fanboys now to fanboys now like me and Stan are, even maybe you, Mike. I mean, you might be a little older in the fanboy, but how me and Stan are, there's times like there's people at work when they'll just, I can't remember one guy I talked to one time, and he was like saying all the bad, he said it was something really stupid, like a dumb comment, like a bait comment, and I just, like, man, I'm like, you're right, because I knew, I'm like, I'm not even gonna argue with you because your perspective of fanboy is a lot different than mine. There's no point even arguing with you because I'm not gonna stoop that low. I mean, even if you keep on bringing out facts, and even if you literally, now fanboys, you bring out a legitimate fact about, say, the Xbox One or even the PS4. I mean, honestly, I see more.
You're gonna have your opinion about anything.
About
really,
anything, but when you literally bring in legitimate fact and they just completely disregard it, they're like, oh, yeah, well, whatever. At least I don't have the red ring of death. It's like, oh my God, you're still bringing that up. And trust me,
Yeah.
I still hear people bring that up. Believe me.
It's like, that was last gen, buddy. Come on.
Like last gen and a couple gens ago.
I don't know. I feel like I've grown up.
I
feel
that's how it is. Me too. But and maybe because I'm still young, I'll get into a debate sometimes, maybe with somebody. But like I said, I will try and use legitimate facts to back up my debating. I'm not just gonna pull stuff out of my ass and throw it out there. Like, yeah, well, the PS3 it looked like a grill. I'm not gonna say stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. Like I said, I want PS4 to succeed. I want Nintendo definitely to succeed. I know we talked about that last time, but right now, I mean, I have a PS3, I have a PS4, I have an Xbox 360, I have an Xbox One. Will I play my PS4 eventually? Yes. Will I play it? I mean, when would I get a game for it eventually? Yeah, maybe in about 6 years when The Last Guardian comes out. Oh, I mean, Now, come on, that might be kind of funny, but it's legit. You guys, I mean, people are listening. Come on, man. I really want to play that game. I'm just making a light of the situation. I know it's off topic, but I really want to play Last Guardian. But who knows when we're gonna get that game, man? I mean, stuff like that.
man.
I mean, you know, and that game looks awesome, I admit, but who knows when we're ever gonna play it? It could be like, I mean, that game was announced in like 2009. The last news we heard was they said they're re-engineering it. So my guess it's going to come out for PS4 in a couple of years, hopefully, because I want to play that game.
It's frustrating to read sometimes, and I'm hoping that we're going to get to a point to where uh, people just have the consoles that they love,
And they stop the
and
hate.
right, stop the hate. If you are well enough off, if you can afford to have a PS4 and an Xbox One and a Wii U, I suggest it highly because you will not have a shortage of games in any way because
Nope.
there's going to be times when you're going to want, PlayStation. We talked about this last week. There are some tried and true PlayStation exclusive franchises that, when they are brought out, are going to really be nice. Uncharted, Jack and Daxter, whatever the Team Ico guys have come up with.
Well, I
We've
think
got.
Jack and Daxter, that might be a while. I mean, isn't Insomniac making that Sunset Overdrive game now for Xbox One?
Well, Insomniac Games is Ratchet and Clank. Jack and
Oh, okay.
Daxter, but but those games are coming,
Oh, yeah.
and so Infamous is coming out in March, and you're still gonna have Drive Club, and there's still going to be these games coming out. So if you are able to own all the systems, I suggest you do it. Now, if you can't, then get the one you love. If it's the PlayStation 4, that's great. If it's the Xbox One, that's great. If it's a Wii U, that's great. But just play the games.
Don't hate me because I like something different. It's like
Yeah,
if we were all the
exactly.
same, then that's boring.
And if you don't
We
like
have
any
nothing
of
to
them,
talk about.
build yourself a nice PC rig. Man, I used to, I back in the day,
Elite Race!
I used to do the Monster 3D FX cards. I used to put before anybody else had SLI cards, man. 3D FX had the dual cards you put in so that I could play Quake at 640 by 480 at 60 frames per
Oh.
second. I mean, that was, back then frame rate was still big. And I used to haul my rig over to a friend's house almost every weekend to do a whole weekend LAN gaming scheme, man. We used to do Quake and Hexen and Duke Nukem and all that stuff. So, if
Pull
you're
up
if you're not
behind
a
you on your
console
little red
person,
wagon.
yeah, build a rig, but just stop pounding on the competition. All right, you're mad at the Xbox One because Microsoft you think was going to quote unquote screw you. Okay, there's no
You
sense
know,
in trying to talk you, to try to talk to you about it. So buy the PlayStation 4, go play the games and enjoy. Don't go into every Xbox One thread that you see to remind everybody how you thought that they were going to screw you. I guess that's what my point is. And these rumors and this insider garbage that's going on. I think it does harm, and I think it does harm to the reputation of internet forums and things like that as well. I guess that's where I'm
No,
at
I
with it.
agree. It's just, and I mean, I think it still kind of stands in. Their gamers these days are a lot different than.
that's because like they have like this online voice where they feel very powerful and they're not scared of anything that they say or do online. But then when it affects the real world, they're like, oh snap, like they don't realize what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
Yeah.
fearless online.
Yeah.
Well, there is that. So, so we are just about up against time. I wanted to we try to do some quick hits. There are a couple of other things that have happened recently that I just want to really quickly throw out there for you guys to comment on. There is a new Transformers game coming to
Oh
coincide with
yeah.
the movie.
Dark of
It
the
is
Word.
Dark of the.
it's going to be it's Transformers: Rise of the Dark Spark,
That's what it was.
and from what I read, you will be able to play
It's Grimlock.
Grimlock. Yes,
Grimlock.
sir. So that one
Can't
is
play as Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. That intro song better be Good Vibration. That's all I'm saying.
So that is multi-console, and that has been there's a trailer out for it already, and so that's cool. Um, Look, I am a Strider fan. I am looking forward to Strider coming out. They have talked about it this week. Both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions will be running 1080p, 60 frames per second. So once
boy.
again, whoever you side down with, you are going to have the same great experience.
Wait, so see, I thought it was only coming on 360 and PS3. Oh, I'm excited then.
Mm-mm.
Dude, that's
Xbox
awesome.
One and PS4 as well.
Is there a price for that? Probably 40, I'm guessing. If it's double Helix, if Killer Instinct was 40 for the highest version, Strider would probably be 40 or less.
Is it
Yeah,
going
we'll
to be
have to
side
check on that.
scrolling or like side scrolling, or is it going to
Actually,
be?
I don't know. I have to.
It's a bit it's in the vein of the original NES and Genesis Strider. So yes, it is side scroll.
Okay.
That's cool. That's something. Now I'll definitely buy that. Then that's awesome. I'm
Stick
glad
to
to
the
hear that.
classic.
Well, wait, if it comes out in March, I might not get it because Titanfall is definitely going to be sucking up my whole life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So and I believe and the second Xbox Live Gold game is now available. So if you are interested in Toy Soldiers Cold War,
Choice.
that is February as the second half of February's free games with gold title.
I know speaking of Games of Gold, there's big rumors that even Xbox One is going to be doing the Games of Gold. I think Major Nelson said more details on that are coming soon, and I think a lot of people are saying it's going to either be Rise or Forza 5 since both those games are published on Microsoft and they both rate.
Rise? They're going
I
to give
think
those away?
I heard Rise, or some people might say Dead Rising because they'd already reached 1 million, but at the same time, though, since Rise and
way.
Forza were both met with good reception and they're both published by Microsoft,
There's still money to be made there. If they already sold 1 million, it's like people obviously want to pay for it still.
I think it would be Rise if it was anything.
That's what I'm saying. I think Rise. I don't know. That's just what I heard. I mean, the game's awesome. People should give it a shot, definitely.
Last one on the list. Speaking of Xbox, there is if you haven't gotten it by now, you should be getting your February update, and that has added the battery indicator, storage indicator, and a number of other things, and apparently has taken the sharpening filter out of the scaler. So
Really, I didn't even know they had one in there.
Yep, it was an artificial sharpener that any game that wasn't 1080p that was upscaled would have this enhanced sharpening effect, and they have taken that out. So
wow,
I'm curious. I haven't seen much of a difference, but there's a lot of people out there that
I guess
people have said it's good.
How the hell? I'm surprised people knew that. I knew, and with the update, it came with the battery indicator, which is pretty cool. And also with the games and apps, when you go on the dashboard and you click on My Games and Apps, that's where it's separated. When I first heard it, I thought it was literally going to be My Games, My Apps, Tiles. But you have to go into the My Games and Apps, and then it shows games, apps, and then it shows how much your hard drive being used. And you can uninstall your games and your apps and stuff like that.
Wasn't it said earlier that the little battery indicator was always going to be at 50% or so?
It looks like it. I think Stinger and you
it
said
does.
something.
That's the one thing where
I mean, my battery, I'm pretty sure I have a lot more battery than that. Who knows? Maybe it's something they'll change. And I do notice it is running a little smoother. Like when I flip through the page, like the home pins or the store, I'm noticing it's just a little faster. And that's a good thing. And they did say this one had a lot of behind the scenes stuff, best experience and stuff like that. And they added stereo uncompressed in the audio section of the settings.
All right, so this brings us to the end of podcast number 2, gentlemen. This is a great thing. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a blast with this.
I'm definitely
absolutely.
Yep, definitely too. And I think we might actually do our first game review in the next couple of days. I'm thinking about doing a Crimson Dragon review. I've seen a lot of reviews from people who are not gamers, but this one will be just a short, maybe 15-20 minute video review for it with some clips of it. So I have to keep everyone updated on that, and I'm really excited we're doing this. We'll have to get some special guests on next time. We're just still starting off, so we got to kind of get our little hands full. That's all I got to say. What about you, Stan? Anything?
Nope, it's been a pleasure. And I'm definitely learning a lot from, even being on these podcasts because you guys are really up to date on your stuff. So,
Well,
Oh,
it's always good to have, like I said, the three ring trio is always good to have, and we all have the different not expertise, but different insight on different areas of it. So
yep. So,
that's good.
if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to our Generation Gamers YouTube page. Would love to get some comments from you guys. Just let us know how we're doing. Let us know if there's something you want to address that we've talked about this week. If we can start getting some comments in our next podcast, we could take some of those and answer them. Uh,
Suggestions, yep.
that'd be good.
Oh, we love suggestions. Hey, look, we're new at this ourselves, and we can always use some improvements. So let us know what you like, what you don't like, and we're looking forward to coming at you again next weekend. So this is Mike Mullis, aka Stinger NLG.
This is Mason, aka Sinar 2 and 2.
And we got Stan, aka Loyal Valor.
All right, guys, game on. Take it easy.
We'll see
All
you in
right.
the Titanfall beta, guys.
Later.
Oh, please. Oh, please.